On today's episode of the EOTI podcast, I'll be having a conversation with the delectable Chisom, who is the Director of Programs at EOTI. So, welcome, Chisom. Can you introduce yourself to our audience?
Hi, Maryann. My name is Chisom Nwatu, the Director of Programs at Emmanuel Onyeabor Tax Initiative. I'm a lawyer and I'm an associate at Maryann Obiefuna. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, this is such a straight to the point introduction of yourself. And can you tell us how you became interested in tax?
Oh my God. Anytime I remember this story, it's very funny because initially I didn't want to do tax. Okay, first of all, back then during undergraduate days, we had to elect a course that we would want to do alongside the other compulsory courses. And initially, I didn't want to do tax because I felt like it was a very bulky course and I would have to combine it with other bulky compulsory courses. But then I had to speak to some of my lecturers, and especially lecturers that do tax, they teach tax, I beg your pardon. And they were like, that tax is a very interesting course. I should take it and just see. So I did. After first semester, I'm like, okay, like, this is good. It's not a bad choice anyway. So that was how my interest in taxation started. I did the course both semesters, and then from there I developed interest, and then I joined the tax club, University of Nigeria Tax Club. And it's been an insightful journey because anytime I converge for a tax conversation or anytime I get into a tax gathering, it's always an insightful session because I will always learn something new. So that was how I started my tax journey. And here I am today in EOTI.
It's amazing, and it's something I just want to mention by the side that of all the people I've spoken with, most of the people at EOTI that I've had a conversation with in recent times, they always mostly begin with, oh, it was not like they really wanted to do tax, but there was a bit of encouragement here and there. And I think it's interesting. So what part of working in tax excites you the most right now?
Okay, right now, I think it's the part of the dispute resolution, right? Aside from the undergraduate level experience I've had, like the theoretical parts, a bit of experience I've had so far is the actual dispute resolution part of tax. And it has been very interesting because, it challenges me, right? You pick up the law and you're reading it from the perspective of a judge and you're interpreting it by yourself, trying to convince the person that you are writing to that, oh, this is what the law is supposed to be, or this is interpretation of the law. So, the transaction part of tax is quite interesting. So far, that has been my experience from the beginning of my joining Maryann Obiefuna, the transaction part. And then entering EOTI, I've also started looking at the international taxation aspects, the transfer pricing, and it has been interesting so far. It has been really interesting. The fact that you have to think outside the box and get a solution for your clients, and not just get a solution, but try to convince, maybe the matter is already in court and in the tax appeal tribunal, you are thinking outside the box and trying to find a way to make an argument from what the law is already stated in black and white. And it's quite challenging and interesting at the same time.
So I love how young professionals of today are able to find challenges very interesting because they see it as opportunity to learn, opportunity to grow. So moving on from the introduction we've had, let's talk about your professional interests and your journey so far. So do you mind sharing with us what steps you've taken so far in your career as it relates to tax?
Quite interesting. After my 400 level, when I did tax both semesters, I picked interest. And it didn't stop there. I joined the tax club. I became very active. I was heading a department, the capital gains department. It was very interesting because we had conversations. We had schedule where we prepare slides, come to teach members of the club. And it was another opportunity for me to learn outside what I've learned in class and also teach, because I mean, the more you teach, the more you learn. And with time, I started developing love for capital gains and other areas of tax. So after then, we started going out for outreach. We went to secondary school to teach taxation as a course or as a career path. And from there, I joined the student membership of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, just for me to, like, I mean, I started taking baby steps, right? I joined as a student member and I did my project in taxation too, in 500 level. I mean, these things were avenues where I went back to open my tax textbook, read it over again. So when I told my supervisor that I wanted to write on taxation, he was very, very, like, he was very surprised and he encouraged me. I'm like, okay, that you can do it. So with the little knowledge I've had in 400 level, both semesters, I challenged myself. I said, you know what, I'm going to do my undergraduate thesis on taxation. I picked a topic. I reached out to Mr. Onyeabor. Of course, he was very willing to help. I reached out to other tax professionals that also helped, sent me materials, and I mean, taxation is a field where you fall in love day by day. It's not something that you just like all of a sudden. I mean, so those writing my thesis, joining the club, becoming a student member of the institute, and now I'm trying to move a step further, not just becoming a student member, but taking the exam. So I've started making inquiries, and because I've reached out to the CITN, the rep in Lagos here, and these are steps I've taken so far, because I know that it's not a marathon, right? It's going to be like a step by step, especially because most of the times in most of the law firms, they don't really have tax as a particular department or unit, like a separate. Not all the law firms have it as a separate unit, so it still boils down on you, individual efforts to grow. So that has been my personal steps so far. And of course, joining EOTI, when Mr. Onyeabor reached out and shared the idea with me, I was very excited. I was very excited because it's not all, like, in Nigeria today, there are very few organizations that are just specific on taxation, very, very few. And when the opportunity came, I was very happy to jump on it, because I know that Mr. Onyeabor is a very, very good teacher. He's a very detailed person, and being under his mentorship is like an opportunity that everybody should want to be. So when the EOTI opportunity came, I was very excited. And I thought there's another opportunity for me to also grow and have more interest in taxation.
So I have listened to you speak very brilliantly about, the steps you've taken so far in your career. And the first impression I would like to correct is the fact that you have not taken baby steps. What I hear that you have taken are more like giant strides, because to an emerging person, to an emerging professional, the person is listening to you say, oh, you've registered as a student member at CITN, you've made this inquiry, you've done this, you went on to do, your project in taxation back in your undergraduate days, and you are onto something very wonderful. And the other comment I have has to do with Emmanuel Onyeabor, but I'll just reserve that. Hopefully I say it before the end of this episode, or maybe in subsequent conversations, because we'll still talk about mentorship and growth, but I think this is a swift way to transition into mentorship and growth, our mentorship and growth discussion through EOTI, because what I've heard you speak about Emmanuel Onyeabor is the fact that he has been like a great mentor. He may not have formally asked him to be a mentor, but through his actions, through his teachings, you've regarded him as a great teacher. It's very nice to know that he's on to something very good with the professionals, and he's paving a way for the young professionals coming after him to be able to do even better than he has done. So let's talk about mentorship and growth through EOTI. right? So do you mind sharing with us what attracted you to join EOTI, either as an executive or to even just sign up for the EOTI program?
Okay, thank you very much. So, like I said earlier, when the opportunity came, Mr. Onyeabor had shared the idea with me. I was very excited because it's tax. You don't see these kind of opportunities all the time. Tax club is structured in a way that it's only for students, right? Once you graduate, you become an alumnus or alumni as the case may be. So everybody who has left school will not want to be in tax club again because it's not something that you would gain from. It's something that you have to give back. So when the opportunity for EOTI came, I was very excited, because one is coming from Mr. Onyeabor, and secondly, it's taxation. So it was an opportunity for me to fuel my interest, and not just fueling my interest because of the fact that not all law firms have tax as a particular it's a different or a separate unit or practice group. So I wanted something that I would always fall back on and develop more interest and grow in my love for taxation. So when the opportunity came, I was very much excited, and not just EOTI did not just offer me the opportunity for me to also learn, but also to give back as an executive. So when the opportunity came, I was very much excited and I was ready to serve because I know that from serving, from teaching, I'm also learning and growing.
So I'm just going to say this is me actually giving him the flowers that are due to him, because he's really making sure that he pays it forward. So I've listened to how you beautifully shared, how you showed interest in wanting to join the EOTI program, and how you've seen it as an opportunity for EOTI through the Founding Mentors Initiative, to actually give back to emerging tax professionals. So do you mind telling me how you feel mentorship has shaped your thinking or helped you grow professionally as at date?
Okay, thank you very much. Mentorship is something that I really, really love. I'm someone that always reach out to people, and not just reaching out to them, but also listening to them. So before EOTI, Mr. Onyeabor has been that person that is always willing to listen. And the fact that he is in a field that I want to grow my interest in, which is taxation, it was always a pleasure to reach out to him. So reaching out to him as a mentor or for a piece of advice or another has really shaped my thinking. First of all, immediately I left school, I was a bit not clueless, but more like having a lot of things in my head. Oh, should I do this? Should I do this? Or what's next? And I remember I had a conversation with him. If you want to have a conversation with me, Mr. Onyeabor, you would have to make out time because conversations are going to be lengthy. Because he is always willing to share his experience and advise you like a mentor, a proper mentor, as if you are paying him for that. And it has been an interesting journey with him because at every point when I wanted to apply for my current job in different law firms, I reached out to him. Oh, what do you think about this? When I wanted to even start my law school journey, at some point when I started seeing scholarship opportunities for my masters. Those things I reach out to him to oh, Mr. Onyeabor, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about this? What's your suggestion? It has really helped me to sort of have a trajectory of where I'm going to, what next after now, where I'm going to in the next 3 years. I'm very certain of that because I've had this guidance from someone who has gone ahead of me, made certain mistakes and point out these things to me and say, oh, don't do this, or do this. And it has sort of given me clarity on what next after now. What's the plan after your trainee associate role? What's the plan after this? What's your plan? What are the steps you are taking to achieve this? Or you want to do this in the next 3 years? You want to become a certified member of CIT, and what are you doing now to achieve that? So Mr. Onyeabor has really, really helped me, not just him as a mentor in EOTI, but other mentors in EOTI, one way or the other, through their webinar teachings and all of that. So it has really given me clarity on what I'm doing after now, what I'm doing now, what I'm doing next year, what I'm doing in 2 years' time, in 3 years' time. clarity has been achieved because I have someone who has gone ahead and is willing to share and has always shared his experience.
I am actually taking in and soaking in the words you've said, because I hear someone who has submitted herself to great mentorship, and it looks like things are definitely, I believe things are definitely going to fall in place with the great plans you've shared, or with the great thought you've shared with regards to your plans based on the mentorship conversations. And yes, having to hear from someone who has walked through that part, who is able to tell you, oh, it may have taken me 2 years to get to this stage, but I believe within 2 months or within 6 months, you'll be able to get here. These are the mistakes that I made, or these are the things I wish I knew better. Because sometimes I listen to people more experienced in life, in career, and they're able to share that, oh, I know in my own time I had to go through these hurdles, but I believe there are better ways to do it now. And that is what mentorship does for us, whether it's through direct mentorship or if I may call it indirect mentorship. So when you think about this mentorship, this growth you've achieved through EOTI, or you've talked about your conversations with Emmanuel Onyeabor, but I want to ask you, how do you think EOTI is helping bridge the gap between aspiration and actual growth?
All right. Thank you very much for that question. So EOTI is a very amazing platform that for every intending tax practitioner should be in. Right now, the very beautiful way the organization has tried to bridge the gap is by offering opportunities to tax enthusiasts, especially with the writing aspect. Now, EOTI is a platform that offers the opportunity to write. So I'm not clueless on what I'm going to write on, or how I'm going to publish my article, or who will review it for me. So all these things are rare opportunities that you can't find anywhere except if you belong to this kind of organizations. These are, for someone like Mr. Onyeabor to review, or any other tax mentor to review a particular article, is something worth looking out for, right? Not to talk of co-authoring an article with your mentor or any other person on the team. So it's a very great opportunity to put yourself out there, not just putting yourself out there, but also to do something meaningful with your interest in a particular field like tax. Because the only way you will show yourself that you have an interest in a particular thing is to do things with, like for instance, write on it, speak on it, attend webinars, and that is what EOTI is offering everybody that is part of the team. So currently in my team, we have 5 topics that we're writing on till the end of the year. So everybody on the team is doing something for themselves, trying to project themselves, put themselves out there. EOTI has given us that opportunity to not just be there to learn, but also to turn out what we have learned and grow while doing it. So it's really a great opportunity, really.
Yes, I agree with you. I share the same sentiments and thoughts about EOTI. And then I want us to go on to discuss your experience, as an executive at EOTI. So can you tell us what your experience has been like so far as an executive at EOTI?
It hasn't been a rosy one, right? Especially combining with work, trying to be there for my team members to show up, because I'm heading a unit that is quite demanding, director of programs. So we see to the success of all the programs we've had. So far, we've had 2 webinars, and we plan it, not just planning it, we work with the media team to execute the plan and make sure that the program is a success. Yesterday we had a webinar on tax reforms across Africa, and it was a successful program. I'm very excited for my team members and I, who have put in so much effort to make sure that the program went successfully well. And so being the head of being director of programs has been a challenging one, especially with the fact that you are managing people who are also busy as you are. So you are trying to find a way to ensure that their not just learning, but they're also showing up to take up what they have indicated interest to do, right? So it hasn't been an easy one, but Mr. Onyeabor has really been helpful. For all the times we've had meetings, weekly meetings, he always show up to encourage everybody. And he has given us brilliant suggestions on how to make sure that everybody participates in the team, our team bonding sessions, and special shout out to my deputy director, Habibat. She has really been helpful. Anytime I'm not available to do something, I also reach out to her, and I've really learned a lot, especially with working together with people, working as a team, ensuring that I carry everybody along, and of course, sharing responsibilities. I don't want to be the one to do everything by myself. I ensure that my team members are also learning to do these things, how to draw out a program schedule, how to take notes in meetings and reduce it to a very beautiful concept out there. So like it has been a very interesting one. I, on my own part, I've been learning to also manage my time, combine work and also combine the position and do well at both of them. So on my own part, as well as much as it has been challenging, I'm also learning how to multitask and also learn at the same time, because most of the times if you don't pay attention to these things, you get carried away. You won't even know the reason why you joined the organization in the first place. So as much as I'm sharing responsibilities, I'm also taking part in those tasks to also learn how to do these things, soft skill management, and communication skills also, because most of the times these people, they don't show up for events. So how do you manage them? How do you communicate with them? How do you reach out and ensure that everybody is fine and carried along? So I've been learning so much. I've been really learning so much, and it has been a great pleasure, really, to be an executive member of EOTI.
I heard you say you've been learning so much. I don't even know why I'm blushing to hear that. Because I think the next question on my mind was actually ask you how you're using the platform to develop yourself professionally. But I hear you talk about the communication skills, and I also love the comment you made about you're making sure to learn and you're ensuring that you're not carried away by the things and programs you're planning. So I guess I'm also curious to find out, are there any areas within tax that you're particularly drawn to or you feel like you want to explore further?
Aside general administration of tax, really, I think I'm beginning to develop a very interesting law for international taxation. As bulky as it has been sound, is something that I would really want to learn and know more about. So I'm being intentional about it now, and I've not done my official mentorship session in EOTI. So I'm looking forward to picking that as my area where I would want to be mentored in international taxation and also transfer pricing. So these are the two areas that I really want to know more about, to learn more about, and also grow.
So let's talk about your aspirations in tax. I think I want to have an idea, and I'm sure those listening to this right now would love to know, looking ahead when it comes to Chisom, what are some of your short-term or long-term goals in the tax space?
I tell myself that in some years to come, I want to be that tax guru, that go-to person in taxation, that when people think of taxation, they think of me. And yes, that's my long-term goal, really, to grow in taxation and finance, basically. And I remember back then in secondary school, I used to be very good in mathematics. So and that's one of the reasons why I love tax. It takes me back to my first love in mathematics, because even though tax laws are really the laws, I also want to learn the calculation aspect of it. And yes, my short-term goal, of course, is to get my certifications and also learn. And EOTI is giving me the opportunity to put myself out there, to write on tax and just be known for taxation. My friends in school, they know that once it comes to taxation question, they always want to reach out to me and ask me, what do you think about this? I may not know the answer, but the fact that they are reaching out to me shows that, okay, I'm doing something that people are getting to know me about, and especially with taxation. I may not know the answer, but like the fact that they reached out to me to ask me these questions in taxation shows that okay, they are seeing what I'm doing and they are encouraging me to do more because I tell myself, okay, what if someone asks you this? What are you going to respond? So the motivation to learn more about it is the fact that I want to be that expert in this area. And for me to get to that point, I would have to be intentional about my decisions, about the things I do, the platforms I join, the thing basically learnings, taking courses in taxation. So like currently, I want to start with my exam, the CITN exam. I think basically that's my short-term goal now to get certified because from that exam I'm going to also learn more because I can't say that I'm good in something with just 2 semester experience. So by the time I take the exam, I'm growing, I'm learning in various areas because taxation is a very broad field. And I got to know the fact that it is a very broad field joining EOTI. There are different areas, real estate taxation, technology taxation, a lot of areas. And for me to grow in these areas, I would have to study. So the CITN exam will also help me to study, not just the exam, taking like conscious efforts, making conscious efforts to reach out to people that would encourage me in terms of giving me work, especially in my workplace. Take out task on taxation, transactions on taxation, compliance issues on taxation. Just do things that has to be taxation so that people will remember that, oh, Chisom does taxation. She likes this thing. She wants to grow in it. Or let's reach out to her for this and all of that. Yeah, so these are my long and short term goals.
I have to first start by, when I referred to you as the intelligent Chisom, I knew what I was saying because I was thinking about, other questions that, I wanted to get from you. I wanted to ask you as you shared your, short-term and or long-term goals, your short and long-term goals. So I was just thinking about other things I wanted to just get from you as you shared your short-term goals, your long-term goals in the tax space. Because when you started, I was thinking, okay, so what kind of tax professional or leader does Chisom aspire to be? And it just felt like you could hear the questions that were, burdening me in my heart, because for every question I had in mind, you're able to share your thoughts. You went on to say the kind of tax leader you really aspire to be. And I said, okay, great. I'm going to ask her when she's done how she's preparing herself to stand out in this fast evolving global tax landscape. And then boom, you went on to talk about the things you're doing, the courses as a short-term goals, platforms you're joining. I see how you're strategically making sure that you achieve those plans. Because most times people tend to forget that the plans or the things, the steps, you take today affect your future, it affects tomorrow. So your actions, your inactions, your reactions, everything, something that happened over the weekend. And I think I just turned to my sisters and I told them that, well, this could have been avoided, but I guess we're all seeing the consequences of our actions and inactions. So the right steps which you deliberately do not take today are going to affect you tomorrow. And then the wrong steps which you intentionally commit to today are still going to affect you tomorrow. We're all shaping our destinies, our life's purpose through what we decide to do, right? And I'd also heard you talk about other things around your aspirations in tax. So I think for this segment, to close this segment, I'm thinking, in what ways do you think young or accomplished professionals as well, or emerging professionals as well, can contribute to the future of tax leadership?
Very interesting question, and I'm going to make reference to Mr. Onyeabor again because the only way he can contribute, is what he's doing now, right? He would have done something else. He could have been doing something else now, but he chose to give back. And that's really one very amazing way to contribute to the future of tax leadership, right? Because the future of tax leadership starts with us, young professionals. So for him to think about this and build a platform that would help us to contribute, because as he's building these things, sowing into our lives, he's contributing to the tax leadership, because tomorrow anybody from the platform can become maybe a chairman of the reform panel, or maybe the present chairman of the tax appeal tribunal, or anybody really, right? So for my people, like my fellow young professionals, I would encourage everyone to join EOTI. Really, is a platform that would help you to grow, and it's a platform that will also help you to contribute, because now we are planning to have programs where we reach out to people in uni and educate them more on taxation courses, various fields, and all of that. So everybody has a role to play. As much as people that have gone ahead of us are also giving us opportunities for us to grow and contribute, we also have a role to play in our various ways. So everybody has a role to play. My role is to ensure that the people coming after me are loving taxation and they are doing their best to grow a career in it, as much as I've been given the opportunity to also grow my own career in it. So I mean, my advice is to just encourage everybody, don't think that you don't have any role to play or you don't have anything to contribute. Even if you are still in uni, you still have something to contribute. That thing you've learned, that thing you know, that thing you have read about, tell someone about it, encourage someone about it, talk about it, write on it, come on LinkedIn and just put yourself out there. One way or the other, someone is reading it and developing interest and just growing in tax, really. So yes, everybody has a role to play. As much as Mr. Emmanuel has given us opportunities for us to also learn, us as young professionals in the team also have a role to play. So yeah.
Succinctly, you put your words on, how you think professionals can contribute to the future of tax leadership. And I also think it is high time people, or people who are intentional, people who are committed to being intentional, to making the world a better place intellectually, begin to speak up. This is not the day and age to actually hide behind the curtains. We have a lot to offer the world, and so as much as possible, let us project with what we do, and it is great that platforms like EOTI exists at this much needed stage, because I believe Emmanuel Onyeabor saw a gap and he saw a need needed to be dealt with, and he actually decided to fill in that gap. And it's mind-blowing. See how far, see how far and wide that they've been able to reach. The level of mentors, the crop of mentees, volunteers. It's just amazing. But I mean, this conversation is not about me. It's about you and EOTI. And as we begin to wind down on this episode, I would like to ask you, Chisom, what one insight or mindset shift you've had during your journey so far, especially since you joined EOTI as an executive?
I've really, really learned, or just like you put it, mindset shift is to challenge myself the more. That thing I'm afraid of doing, write that article, do that project, put yourself out there and just do your best. Someone somewhere is watching and is taking note of that. So don't be afraid of anything. Put yourself out there and keep learning, keep studying, keep reading. That's one thing I've really learned so far with my journey in EOTI.
Okay, and that is a 10-in-1 mindset shift or insight you've shared with us. Now, are there any thoughts or messages you would like to share with EOTI on how it can achieve its vision and maximize its reach?
Really doing well for an organization that started this is from March till date. I mean, we are doing so well, doing amazingly well. Engaging in webinars, having programs. I mean, we are doing so well. The only thing I would think that we can also do is to just reach out to younger people in uni and maybe do something for them, organize a program for them, aside from that, we are really doing so well because the aim of EOTI is to maximize tax education, improve our knowledge in taxation, and as much as EOTI is really for graduates and undergraduates to some extent, the interns. I mean, we can also reach out to people and maybe organize webinars strictly for undergraduates for them to also develop an interest in tax. I remember back then in uni, even though I took a step to reach out to, I would have been discouraged in taking tax as a course and I wouldn't be here today, right? So I think we can also reach out to undergraduate students in uni and just tell them that, oh, tax is a very interesting course and you would want to do it and all of that. Yeah. So but so far so good. We are doing so well. We are doing amazingly well. The webinars has been insightful. I've been learning so much and opportunities has been there. Miss Onyeabor has really given us that platform really because I mean, anytime I come online every day and go to the WhatsApp group, I learn every day. He doesn't just pay attention to hard skills. He also educates us on our soft skills, how to communicate through emails, how to like very minute things that people don't learn in school. So it's really that platform where you learn generally, aside from your knowledge in tax, but general area of life. So yeah, we are doing so well so far.
I would love to say a big thank you for your time and for this conversation. It's been amazing listening to you, and I'm sure that those listening to this or those who would listen to this would feel inspired either by something you've said or by some things you've said. Thank you very much for your time.
It's a pleasure to be here once again and to share my experience so far. I'm really, really excited to see what the future would hold and also to look back today, listen to this in 5 years' time to come and smile at myself and say, yeah, you're killing it, Chisom. So thank you very much. It's a very amazing opportunity. Thank you for having me. I don't take it for granted. I'm very much excited to do this. Thank you so much.
And with that, we've come to the end of yet another interesting conversation with Chisom Nwatu. I hope you enjoyed our conversation. Don't forget to share with someone whom you know needs to listen to this conversation, and stay tuned for other beautiful episodes of the EOTI podcast.